Yo, what's going on, guys? We are back for another Chainsaw Man chapter, and this one goes insanely crazy. I'm pretty sure you guys have already seen the panel, but Denji he's getting his legs cut off. And this is just a crazy turn in, I guess, theme or direction of the manga, because we haven't been too dark recently, but Fujimoto's definitely been building it up. But let's just get right into it, because this chapter, it goes hard. So Denji wakes up right after his dream that he had at the end of last chapter, and we see like this helicopter going by, and we hear it. Denji wakes up because of this noise, and we see this like smoke coming up. So we can assume there's still like this war going on outside in Japan or across the world even. So I mean, that stuff is definitely still not resolved and probably ramping up a lot more. So I guess we'll get into that stuff later. But either way, Denji wakes up and he's been asleep for a long time. And I mean, we hear Yoshida say it later because he's in the room right now, but it's been a week he's been asleep. So it's been a while, but we know why he was asleep so long. Like, it's not because of his injuries or anything like that. It's because Yoshida's been sedating him. But Yoshida is basically sitting there. And the only reason he's there is just to wait for Denji to wake up and I guess tell him, you fucked up. But either way, he says, you slept like a dog and whatever. And Denji's only worried about Nayuta at this point, so he has no clue what happened to her. Yoshida has no clue what happened to her. But Denji tries to like get out of his bed because he's been in bed for a week, so he can't just walk right away. Which I mean, I think that's how it works, muscle atrophy and stuff like that. But Yoshida at this point, I think he sedates Denji again. We just don't get to see it in the manga, and he basically drops us with the bombshell. He's like, turn into Chainsaw Man, and I can't guarantee your normal life. Those are the rules that we put down, but you broke them, so I cannot guarantee you any safety. And I mean, obviously, we knew the repercussions of Denji turning into the Chainsaw Man again, but obviously, it's coming to bite him in the ass now. So at this point, Denji basically falls back asleep. Yoshida leaves the room, and we see these bums, these public safety bums. Fumiko's right in the middle too, but now we do get the explanation later of obviously of why they're keeping him, because they're going to chop him up. And Fumiko literally says, like, are we actually going to like cut Denji up? And like obviously Yoshida's like, yes, like, his body's going to be a part of the state, or like the state's property. And obviously Fumiko, she's a little fucked up in the brain. She's like, can I get like a piece of his hair, or like, a toenail or something? Like, I'm a collector, I gotta add it to my collection. But we get to see this sort of, I guess, inside of Denji's mind again. He's having another dream, but he's actually just talking to Pochita. And Pochita's been pretty menacing like lately. He's been like, he's got this aura about him where like it's very ominous. Like something is going to happen because of Pochita. And I'm just thinking maybe Pochita's gonna like force Denji into like the full Chainsaw Man mode, or to force him to wake up, or maybe Pochita takes control because obviously he doesn't want Denji to die. Denji is like, his buddy, his homie. But there is there's something going on there, I think deeper. So we'll see later. But Denji's basically thinking, like, I gotta get up, Pochita. Pochita's like, why, bro? There's no reason for you to get up. And Denji's like, I gotta go save Nayuta. And I think it's funny how every time Denji's in his like brain, we always see him as a kid. So that's also a thing. But either way, Pochita's like, you want to save her? You can't do that without legs. And then we cut. Like, this page turn is insane. Seeing Denji on this operating table, they cut his leg off, and they're basically preparing to cut his other leg off, his like right leg, no, left leg, yeah. So he's asleep, basically naked, pinned down, chained down. They got these cool ass saws, but we get to see like them cutting into the flesh and stuff, and it's pretty gory because we haven't really been doing that sort of body horror stuff in this part of the manga as much as like part one, where like Denji was like ripping apart zombies and like getting himself ripped apart. So we just get to see some more horror that Fujimoto's doing. But either way, they say right leg 26 has been amputated. So this is just like weird because they say right leg amputation completed, and in my mind I'm like, is that the 26th leg that they cut off of Denji? Like, has he been like regenerating? Because I know he needs blood, but like they cut out that other one and they're bandaging it up and it's not regrowing. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Like, it could be the 26th leg that they cut off, but he says we'll start on right leg 27. So I'm just guessing, like, are those like, maybe the numbers are just like where they're gonna cut. So I'm not sure, but if they cut his leg off 26 times, like maybe that's what they've been doing in this week. So I'm not sure. It just seems crazy. They're handing his like foot off away to people, and it's just like wild. Like this is the craziest thing we've seen in this part of Chainsaw Man. It's just absurd. And then we see this dude in the back with the eye patch. He's in the special division, I'm pretty sure, because the doctor's talking about, could the special division like agent please leave the operating room? Like it's sort of distracting you smoking in here because you've been in here the entire time. And obviously, this dude's like, no, I can't. I'm under orders to kill Chainsaw Man if he tries to flee. And I mean, obviously, public safety is going to have contingency plans for if Denji wakes up. And obviously, I think Denji will wake up, but also there's like a little cliffhanger at the end of this chapter. Also, if you guys like the Chainsaw Man content, want new chapter reviews each week, just please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Back to the video. But this is the Tokyo Devil Detention Center. They are literally in it. And this guy says, since its founding, nothing, no devil, nobody has broken out. So obviously, like in any show, any manga, anything, if somebody says like this place has never been broken out of, or this place has never been broken into, guess what's gonna happen? Like it's gonna get broken out of because we gotta build that hype. This dude continues to explain like armed personnel, they're like around the clock staffed here. So I mean we don't gotta worry about like a deficiency of people, but like this detention center is prepared for anything. He's hyping this place up, and he's like, it would take a war to compromise this facility. And we see what looks like Asa's legs. Also, could be a few other people, but that is the end of the chapter. We have no break next week, which is a huge W. But those legs right at the end, they could be Asa because obviously that dude was saying it would have to take a war to like break into this place. But obviously, there are some other theories. Like it looks like REZE a lot because she wore those higher socks and those same sneakers, but I also gotta say, almost everybody in Chainsaw Man wears those same sneakers. Like those are just like the sneakers that Fujimoto designed. Like he's like, I don't want to draw any more sneakers. I'll draw dress shoes. But everybody wears those same shoes. So it's sort of like contentious if it is REZE or like even Nayuta, which I think is probably a higher chance than REZE. But I'm thinking maybe we might get a team up of some of the horsemen, and it could take a war. We bring the war devil out. She does some crazy stuff. Hopefully, she's like super amped even more than before because, I mean, this war has been going on like nonstop since for like a week or two at this point, I think. So her and Denji should be super powerful. But the main person I think that is like outside of the detention center is Asa because the hint, like literally right there, or Nayuta because I mean, we don't know where she is. We don't know if she's dead or not. I don't think she is, but obviously that would be too sad because at the end or in the middle of the last chapter, when we cut away from her, we basically just see her get attacked by a bunch of like a mob. So she could be dead. I don't think Fujimoto would off screen her like that, but we never really know. But since we have no break next week, I think that's just a huge W because if we don't like flash back to what Asa was doing during that week, we're going to see who it was that is waiting outside the detention center that is going to be the person that's going to break out Denji. I mean, I hope they break out Denji. Obviously, they could have ulterior motives. They could be going in there to get a devil because this is a devil detention facility. It's a prison for devils from what I'm hearing. So we're basically going to see maybe it's Fami too. I was thinking about that, but I would like to see the horsemen team up, maybe break Denji out because even like Nayuta, we saw in her like flashback thing, she was like, I'm gonna, I want his heart. So, Denji is definitely worth something to these horsemen, especially Fami because she was the one that sort of set up this whole thing to make Chainsaw Man and War strong enough to beat the Death Devil. So I'm pretty sure it's one of the horsemen. I'm hoping, obviously, Asa, but if it is Fami, I think that'd be really cool because we get to see more of her powers. Maybe she uses more of her devils that she has contracts with. So that could be crazy. There's lots of ways this story could go at this point because Fujimoto is really kicking it into gear right now. Like the last few chapters have been sort of boring to me, but like obviously it's ramping up right now. Like I didn't expect to see Denji just getting chopped up out of nowhere. I've been predicting that like the story was actually gonna, kick into gear some more sometime soon because it's just been seeming like we've been building up to something really big. And I think the catalyst might be this, I guess, raid on the detention center. So I'm definitely super excited to see what's going to come from all of this because, Bareem, we don't know if he's still alive. We don't know about the other hybrids. Obviously, we don't know about REZE. I'm not sure if she's dead yet, but there's definitely like, ways to see that she is. So I'm definitely not really sure what's going to happen next. There's like no way to predict what Fujimoto will ever do. We all know this, but for sure, somebody's coming to save Denji. And there's going to be a huge fight. And obviously, they're going to break Denji out because we would not get text saying that nobody has broken out of this place or nobody has been able to get out or there's no way anybody can get out, stuff like that. There's no reason that text would be there if we're not going to break in there and break somebody out or something like that. So that's just like a dead giveaway in writing. It's like the Chekhov's gun. Like if you're going to place this knowledge here, you got to, follow through with it. So we'll see next week. I really hope it's not like a flashback to Asa because that's definitely a high possibility because we got to, catch up with them during this whole like war fiasco. So, I mean, it could be. That'll definitely be like a fucking like kick in the balls, but you already know if Fujimoto does that, he's gonna like cut at the end of the chapter to the present, and then we're gonna have a big ass cliffhanger for like a 2 week break, and I'm just gonna be over it, man. No, I'm super excited for where the story is gonna go because it's really ramping up, and I think this could be shaping up to be better than part one. I'm not really sold yet because Makimo is such a great villain, like such a great twist villain also that just manipulated Denji like crazy, but there are 3 other horsemen out there that we have to do something with. So we're going to see about all that stuff. Maybe what I'm hoping for, we get more Pochita stuff, we get to hear more of Denji's like inner monologue or his like mind palace thing area where he's talking to Pochita, but all that stuff seems super ominous like I was talking about before. I'm sort of scared. Like I don't know what Pochita sort of is planning or like if he has ulterior motives because it doesn't really seem like he ever has, but if he is going to turn into the Chainsaw Man to break Denji out of there, I think that would be pretty fucking dope. But what do you guys think is going to happen next? Because this was mind blowing, this chapter, and I'm like surprised we don't have a break next week because after these cliffhangers, Fujimoto always gives us a break. So I'm happy we don't have a break. We get to go right into the action next Tuesday. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it if you made it this far. If you like the Chainsaw Man content, please subscribe. I really appreciate that too. But we'll be back for more Chainsaw Man next week. Thank you guys and peace.